WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Good morning and welcome to Wolo and Friends. Brett Norsworthy hosting this week for my friend Dave Woloshin. He'll be back next Wednesday, so I'll be with you today and next Monday and Tuesday. And I know where Dave Woloshin would start this show today if he were here, and it would be appropriate, and I feel like I have to in his absence. And him growing up in Chicago, I think within walking distance of Wrigley Field, being the Cubs fan, being the Bears fan that he is and that he was in his youth and teenage years and going to games at Wrigley Field, he would start with the passing of Mr. Bear, Dick Butkus. The news came last night, and appropriately, the Chicago Bears broke a ugly losing streak on the same day of the news of the passing of Dick Butkus at age 80 in his sleep, and Chicago through and through, born and reared there. Played college football at Illinois, also Papa Bear, George Halas's alma mater, and then back with the Bears and retired a Bear and went to the Hall of Fame there, the only team he ever played for. And I like the Bear symmetry, synergy of a lot of their Hall of Famers, like Gale Sayers, like Dan Hampton, like Mike Singletary, like Walter Payton. They only played for one team, and that was for the Chicago Bears. And in those great Bear years under Mike Ditka as head coach, when they won the Super Bowl after the 1985 season in 1986, in January of 1986 in New Orleans against New England, Dick Butkus was part of the broadcast team and a beloved, just around town. And with his passing, the baddest man maybe in the history of the NFL, certainly when he played. I'm trying to think of a player now like that you just would not mess with on or off the field. You wouldn't in the locker room as a teammate, almost on eggshells around him, the ferociousness, the fieriness that he always displayed. And he was here in Memphis in 1982 for Coach Bear Bryant's last game against Illinois. He had a nephew on the Illinois team that year. And I wasn't around him, but I remember him being here. There was a story in one of the papers, either Commercial Appeal or the Press Center, about him being here for that game. And I thought it was really neat then, because when he played for the Chicago Bears, it was no argument about it. Unarguably, they had the best defensive player in the sport, and they had the best offensive player in the sport for Gale Sayers, and neither one of them ever played in a postseason game. They didn't have a lot to go with them, but they did distinctly have the best offensive and defensive players in the sport at that time in Gale Sayers on offense, number 40, and on defense, number 51, Dick Butkus. I know Dave would start there, and I know when he gets back next week,